was supposed to be the best time of her life, but for Rachel, it felt like a slow torture. Every day, she walked the same halls, sat through the same boring classes, and watched the same faces float by. There was one face, though, that always caught her attention. Jason. Jason was the classic high school heartthrob. Tall, athletic, with piercing blue eyes and a smile that made Rachel's heart flutter. Every girl wanted him, and every guy wanted to be him. Rachel was no exception. She had been harboring a crush on him since freshman year, but Jason had never noticed her. She was just another face in the crowd, invisible. One day, everything changed. It was a sunny Thursday afternoon when Rachel's best friend Laura came running up to her, excitement written all over her face. "You'll never believe what I just heard," she exclaimed, grabbing Rachel's arm. Rachel raised an eyebrow. "What is it?" "Jason asked about you," Laura said, barely able to contain her excitement. Rachel's heart skipped a beat. "What? No way! You're joking." "I'm serious," Laura insisted. "He was talking to Mike in the cafeteria, and I overheard him asking who you were. Mike told him your name and that you were in his English class." Rachel couldn't believe it. Jason knew who she was. The thought sent a thrill through her. "Maybe he needs help with homework," she said, trying to temper her excitement. "Or maybe he likes you," Laura suggested with a wink. Rachel laughed it off, but the idea planted itself firmly in her mind. Could it be possible? Could Jason really be interested in her? The next day, Rachel found herself nervously glancing over at Jason during English class. To her surprise, he caught her eye and smiled. Her heart raced as she smiled back, her cheeks flushing. After class, Jason approached her. "Hey, Rachel, right?" "Yeah," she replied, trying to sound casual even though her heart was pounding. "I'm Jason. I was wondering if you could help me with something for the English project. I heard you're pretty good at this stuff." Rachel felt like she was dreaming. "Sure, I'd be happy to help." "Great. Maybe we could meet at the library after school," he suggested. "Yeah, that works," she said, trying not to sound too eager. That afternoon, Rachel met Jason in the library. They spent the next hour going over the project, but Rachel found it hard to concentrate. She couldn't believe she was sitting next to Jason, talking to him, laughing with him. He was even more charming up close, and she found herself drawn to him even more. As they packed up their things, Jason smiled at her. "Thanks for your help, Rachel. You're really smart." Rachel blushed. "Thanks. If you need any more help, just let me know." Jason nodded. "I might take you up on that." Over the next few weeks, Rachel and Jason began to spend more time together. They met in the library to study, walked to classes together, and even had lunch together a few times. Rachel felt like she was on cloud nine. Her crush on Jason had only grown, and she couldn't believe how lucky she was to be spending time with him. But not everyone was happy about their budding friendship. Sarah, the head cheerleader and one of Jason's ex-girlfriends, was furious. She had always considered Jason to be her territory, even though they had broken up months ago. She didn't like seeing him with Rachel, a nobody in her eyes. One afternoon, Sarah cornered Rachel in the hallway. "So, you think you're something special, huh?" she sneered. Rachel looked at her in surprise. "What are you talking about?" "Jason," Sarah spat. "He's mine. Always has been, always will be. So stay away from him." Rachel's heart sank. "Jason and I are just friends." "Yeah, right," Sarah said, rolling her eyes. "Consider this a warning. Stay away from him or you'll regret it." Rachel felt a chill run down her spine as Sarah walked away. She tried to brush off the encounter, but Sarah's words lingered in her mind. She didn't want to lose Jason, but she also didn't want to make an enemy of Sarah. As the weeks went by, Rachel noticed strange things happening. She would find her locker vandalized with nasty messages, her textbooks would go missing, and she even received anonymous threatening notes. She suspected Sarah was behind it, but she had no proof. One evening, as Rachel was walking home from school, she felt like she was being followed. She glanced over her shoulder but saw no one. She quickened her pace, her heart pounding. When she reached her house, she hurried inside and locked the door, her hands shaking. She tried to tell herself she was just being paranoid, but the feeling of being watched persisted. She began to have trouble sleeping, plagued by nightmares of shadowy figures and eerie whispers. One day, Rachel received a text from Jason. "Hey, can you meet me at the old abandoned house on Elm Street? I need to talk to you." Rachel felt a knot of unease in her stomach. The old house on Elm Street was rumored to be haunted and no one ever went there, but she trusted Jason and she wanted to see him. She arrived at the house just as the sun was setting, casting long shadows over the dilapidated structure. She hesitated at the entrance, the air thick with tension. "Jason?" she called out, her voice echoing through the empty house.